Every Thursday from 3 to 6:30 at Stanton Plaza is the Manchester Community Farmers Market. Don't miss this. Shop local. We have a great group of vendors and artisans. Come on down. Parking is free if you park in the Center of New Hampshire parking garage. Just don't forget your ticket and I'll validate it. Come and shop local. You will not be disappointed. That's Thursdays from 3 to 6:30 at Stanton Plaza in front of the Manchester Downtown Hotel. Thanks to our sponsors, TD Bank, AARP, New Hampshire Blacktop, Sealers, and the Manchester Downtown Hotel. Of course, produced by In Town Manchester. See you at the market.
Join me, Matt Connarton, weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m. live for a discussion about politics where we put aside labels like liberal and conservative and have a discussion about truth and what's really happening in the world.
Hey everybody, this is Rob Azevedo from Granite State of Mind, reminding you to tune in every Friday night at 6 o'clock for live in-studio performances by some of the very best artists from around the state playing here in studio, doing what they do best. And don't forget, rebroadcast times are Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. and Monday and Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
The Shaskin Pub is happy to be a sponsor in WMNH. Our location is 909 Elm Street. The Shaskin Pub is open 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. and offers the best food and drinks in downtown Manchester.
This hour on WMNH is proudly sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 171 Londonderry Turnpike in Hooksett. Serving all your employee benefits planning, design and administration, investment and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. They are available at 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
You are listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
We know darkness will descend, precisely as the signs portend. When all but 3% of scientists say we should have taken action yesterday. A collision of corporate greed against the earth, our social dirt, and it confounds the science. There's air pollution overload from ripened fossil fuel, and while solutions are within our sight, we're doing nothing to avoid the fight. A catastrophe like we've never seen before stands at the door, and it confounds the science. Extermination of the bee, where once 10,000, now there's 3. They're disappearing at a rapid clip. I don't use honey, all the morons quit. We should remind ourselves that without bees there's no food, and we'll be screwed. And it confounds the science. Our cancer rates are through the roof. As to the cause, there's never proof. The chemicals that we spray on our food and other toxins that we gladly chew, the consequences exercise, and we can found the science, and the people bow and pray to the mighty God they made. While the earth is flashing its warning about disaster that we are forming, we argue back and forth over meaningless issues that we fabricate till it's too late, and even then we can pounce the science.
I stand up here giving speeches for an hour and a half, many times without notes. An anomalous, really anomalous, gutless, coward. Says who? Says who?
Hello, everybody. It's that time again. Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3, emanating from downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, streaming at WMNHradio.org, which you can also find on the TuneIn app, so you can take us wherever you go. We're on Channel 97 Comcast in Manchester. Of course, we're on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. I already see Peter White of The Morning Show with Peter White in there. Hello. And NASCAR Nicey is in there as well. Coming up at 4:30 p. We'll be joined via phone by Dr. John D. Rich Jr. Looking forward to speaking with him. John Hopwood is here in the studio with us. He's saluting, of course. And the effervescent, the People's Mayor, Glenn R.J. Ouellette. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. So why can't you get it straight? It's anonymous.
It's
How does he say it?
He sounds like I was worried watching that clip. I thought he was having a stroke.
He sounded like he was slurring, but I know he doesn't drink, so that's not it.
Right. Yeah. No, apparently you can't say anonymous.
Well,
What can you do?
And what does he have? A German accent? His family's from Germany.
His family's from Germany.
Yeah,
no,
his
no,
father.
they're Scottish, aren't they?
Well, his mother's
the
from
drums?
Scotland.
His mother's Scottish.
And his grandfather was from Germany.
Oh.
Or was his father?
I think it was his
From
father.
Germany.
But his mother, you're right, his mother's is Scottish.
Oh, right. Well, Glenn, you can, by the way, you don't have to tell me that off the air. You can just tell me, you can just say on the air, I can only stay for 15 minutes. But you were telling me off air that you could only stay for 15 minutes, or
Yes,
trying to tell me.
I can only stay for 15 minutes.
Now, why is this, Glenn R.J. Ouellette? Do you have a somewhere important to be?
Yes.
Because you are the people's mayor?
No, it has nothing to do with that. One Wednesday a month, I go to Knights of Columbus meeting, and this is that Monday of the. This is that Wednesday of the month.
All right.
You're in the KFC.
Yeah, I've been in Fort Degree Night. I've been there since I graduated high school.
Maybe this is them calling for you. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
Oh, guys.
Eric, we were
Gagnon.
talking about you.
I'll be damned. Hello,
Or
Eric.
is it Eric Gagnon?
He did a great.
Hey, John Hopper, what's going on with that wrestling show? You said you were going to go upstairs yesterday and find out what was going on?
Yeah, but it was too late by 2 minutes. It's a show on pop culture. I guess it's a half-hour show that's taped. And there was a guy there talking about wrestling. But I will find out next week.
What was the name of the show?
Oh, all right.
It's something about,
Sounds
pop
interesting.
culture.
Yes, he does restaurants too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know you guys got different people that listen to your show in the afternoon because in about an hour or so, they're going to have the annual Taste of Downtown.
Oh,
obviously right downtown.
Yeah.
I heard you
So I wanna
talking
tell you
about
listeners
that.
to come on down. If you already
how much does it
hadn't
cost?
got your ticket, you can purchase it right across the street from your place at 1000 Brady Stalvin Plaza.
How much does it cost?
And you get tickets for $20.
So Eric,
that's out
come
of
on
my,
downtown tonight, Eric. Come on down.
He does live downtown.
I know. He's gonna have to walk far.
Right, so I'm going to check that out for a little while. Then I got to go to my SNU kickoff meeting, and then I'm going to check it out at the end. So I'm going to do a little bit at the taste and a little bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end.
Are you on the board of
any
SNU
of you
now?
folks going to be checking that out?
It's out of my price range. My basically is stealing blueberry muffins from the Elliott Hospital.
I just I look
they
forward.
were given to me.
I look forward to hearing about it and living it vicariously through your next entertainment report on the morning show.
There you
And
go.
by the way, not to stir the pot, but I thought Peter was a little unfair to you this morning. I thought that was the best
Was it
entertainment
bullying?
report you've ever done.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, he's usually really rough on me, but that's okay.
I was
can take it.
getting nervous that you were going to get upset and just
We're all there to have a good
Well,
time.
Glenn is rough on me.
I was worried you were going to say
You're not rough on me.
entertainment is good, and then just storm out the studio.
But Matt, the moose is gone, so
No,
he's got to replace it with
they,
someone.
Ooh, well, no one
We
can
already
fill.
had one guy do that named the Moose.
No
so
one
I
can.
don't want to
Fill the
No,
antlers.
no one can fill those hooves.
That's
Not
true.
even Eric Gagnon, much as he might try.
Not even I. I totally agree.
How do you look
You
up?
guys have a great show. I'll be looking
Eric,
for a little while. So
Merci
How do you
beaucoup.
look at a
taste
Speedo?
and a meeting and a little bit more of the taste.
This is afternoon
Right, bye,
radio.
Eric.
We've seen
Have a great
Moose in a Speedo.
We did?
I have.
Oh.
I have.
I've seen him.
guys.
Oh, apparently Eric's calling back. He wants to hear more about that. But
Yeah, it always does.
no, I don't want to hear more about that.
So
I'm,
did you
I'm
guys
frightened.
vote yesterday?
I
Of course.
did.
I did too.
I
voted-
voted early and often.
And you know, there's one race that I was really surprised at.
Well, I don't think we do. Do we have to make everything about race, Glenn R.J.?
No,
Well,
I'm
my
talking
goodness.
about a political race.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
And that was the seat for the Congress. I really had in my mind, by what was going on, and the polls were saying, that it was going to be either Chris, the lady who's Morris Sullivan, or Andrews. Andrews only got 7% of the entire vote. What happened?
She came in last of the major candidates,
Yeah,
didn't she?
what
Like of the
happened?
top five.
I told you that I thought Chris was going to break 50%. What did he break? 44?
44, which is pretty good for for
Excellent,
11
yeah.
people.
I think part of the issue too may have been so when she was on the show the other day, she was originally supposed to come into the studio, but instead she was too busy and she called in. I think had she been here in the studio live, she would have gotten the Matt Connarton Unleashed bump, and it would have propelled her to victory.
So the phone calls doesn't give her the bump?
No, you got to be here live to get the bump.
Well, I'm glad I come here live, but I still don't get the bump.
You're gonna be mayor of Africa, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not
I
interested
promise.
in being mayor anymore at all of anything.
Or Australia or whatever it is you're running for.
I'm not running for nothing.
He's so coy.
I will tell you though.
Alderman.
I will tell you though. Yes, probably. I will tell you though. Yesterday, Alderman at large.
Oh,
I will.
yeah.
I will
You
tell
are?
you. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about
You
it.
should have run
I-
that last
This
time.
is-
I will. I will tell you though that yesterday, like, I've been working in my.
We're at Ward 3.
Yeah,
working.
I've been working in the polls since '91, so I really know my ward. Well, in my ward, in a midterm election primary that we had yesterday, we barely get between 500 and 600, and it's a stretch.
Yeah.
Well, we got 973 votes.
Wow.
That tells me another thing. It tells me that in November, that could double the voters. People are angry.
We probably could get 60% of the vote. Yeah.
People are angry, and they're serious. They want to make changes.
Well, this is breaking news though about potentially running for alderman
No,
at
we
large.
mentioned it last Friday.
Well, it's
maybe
not just me have said that you should
Maybe-
run at
we
Alderman
mentioned it
at
in
large.
passing last Friday that I'm
You'd have
considering
got
it.
thousands of votes.
I have not decided.
maybe I wasn't paying attention.
I said that out
But
of the
I've-
two
I've
aldermen at
never,
large, there is
Yeti.
one
Yeti.
that is really becoming an asinine to me, and I'm thinking about
What?
running against him.
Huh? Who's becoming an asinine?
An asinine.
What's an asinine?
I'm being polite. It's
he
radio.
does look like an old woman with a fright wig.
Oh,
He was at Ward 10. It was
What is an asinine? I've never heard that term in my life. Is this a French thing?
It's a Quebecois term for an old woman in a fright wig.
Oh.
Well, not the wig, except for the wig.
Who are?
Oh, we're talking about the teddy bear.
No,
Nedved.
you were right, but except the wig is not included.
But
So
he
you-
does look like he wears a fright wig.
So the asinine offends you? I thought we weren't bringing race into this.
I didn't. He
Not
doesn't-
a mastodon, dummy.
The asinine doesn't
It's the first time
offend
I've
me.
called you dummy.
Yes.
It
Well,
doesn't
you-
offend me.
Yetis are
What
very...
it does is that when you can't change the issue and you're the one person in the entire board that says, let's table this, you can't move the city forward. He's not working for the best of the community.
And that's
sorry to
that's
say.
an asinine.
Now, I'd just like to change the subject briefly.
To turn.
When we talked about Matt's bisexuality yesterday,
What
it
was
it
that?
was strictly in the terms of him being a
Oh, you
Yeti.
just got Glenn's attention.
Yeah, being a Yeti.
Are you a Yeti?
No, I'm not. But I guess you would call it
He's
in
a Yeti,
Yeti terms
right?
intersex.
I am a Yeti with 2 T's.
Intersexed because of their loneliness. You know, think of the centuries of loneliness when you're young. They have
You don't
both,
have to tell me.
both sets of genitals. So when I say to Matt,
Why
don't
do
you go
we talk about stuff like that?
why don't you go expletive delete yourself?
Right.
He always says, hey, why not? It's a compliment to them.
Yes.
So you're a Yeti.
They call it intersex.
A Yeti.
You keep saying the double D's. I tripled them.
2 T. What double D's? Now he's on the doll side.
No, actually, I prefer to think of myself as a karma chameleon.
2 T's or not 2 T's?
I come and go.
You come and
like
go.
the man from Kent.
We're not going there.
Right? No, certainly not.
But we don't talk about city politics.
No.
What do you do with the Knights of Columbus? Well, what is that? Is that part of
It's
the
a religious organization.
Is that part of the Illuminati?
No.
Oh, it's very big in Boston.
Are you part of the globalists?
What, the Illuminati?
No, the KFC.
It's big here too.
Are you funded by George Soros?
No, I'm not.
He's not Catholic.
Oh,
that's right. George Soros is not Catholic.
He's a cosmopolitan.
That's
George
right.
Soros is or Glenn is?
No, George Soros is.
Oh. You dress like you're in a very cosmopolitan. I might be. Haven't I seen you on the cover of Cosmo?
It's so similar to the judicial robes he has.
Oh, you're
the red and the black.
Has he seen that picture?
Let me tell you something.
Stendhal, the red and the black.
I've always been told that I was born ahead of my time, and even though as I'm getting older, I'm still ahead of my time.
Did you have more than one head at birth?
You know what I mean by that. It's a cliche.
Yetis, frequently, you have to eat your own head. That's a rite of passage.
Which is quite traumatizing.
Yetis
I must
eat
tell
their
you.
own heads. Have you ever eaten your own head?
Well, I am a Yeti, yes. It's a part of puberty, and it's terrifying.
The governor's race,
it's like learning to swim.
The gubernatorial.
Yes, let's
we
use
like
the,
to be official.
Use the proper terms.
I was surprised, but I didn't know enough about it. I thought Marchand was going to get it.
Well, I didn't think he'd win, but I voted for him.
But he lost by a big amount.
I guess he should never have used the fleur-de-lis on his signs. You know, it just is antagonizing.
You think so?
That's a kiss of death. The fleur-de-lis.
Anyway,
he antagonized.
But she's not going to be a bad candidate. But I still think as much
Irish versus French Canadian.
Yeah, I still think that unless there's a lot of politics going on between now and then.
Yes. Or less.
Unless
that's sibilant.
It's hard to unseat a first-time incoming.
He's very popular, and he's a very likable person.
Yeah,
he's a very likable person.
Sununu's going to easily win re-election.
I don't know easily because
unless
of
there's
the
an October
Trump
surprise,
factor.
right? That's the way to say it.
Yeah. Trump's not going to affect him.
And I don't see October surprise coming with Sununu.
Well, you're going to have in the CD1, you've got a hardcore Trump supporter in Eddie.
Yes, you do.
Yes, Eddie Edwards. Jenny was very happy because she knows Andy Sanborn. They served in the House together. She was very happy to see him lose.
Well, I tell you one thing. I predicted that race will be very close. Unless, again, there's an October surprise.
Which one?
I see an October surprise coming in Eddie.
Oh.
No way. Chris Pappas is unbeatable.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What is he gonna gay bait him?
No. That wouldn't work because he
Maura
admits it.
Sullivan did, and it had a backlash.
I said I saw an October surprise in Eddie, not in Chris. In Eddie.
What do you mean, Eddie?
Eddie, who's running on the Republican side.
But an October surprise means something's going to come into play. You mean there's a scandal about the Liquor Commission?
I don't know. I'm just saying I'm predicting
Glenn
that
is being coy.
Like an October, like the robe thing would be an October surprise.
That's not an October surprise. That is a
judicial
Peter
robe.
White
Judicial
surprise,
robes.
right, Peter? You're listening.
Judicial robe.
He does. Of course, he's listening.
Aren't you the one that gave Peter the suspended 30 days for
for what?
To a Yeti? Well, he wasn't part of the tail bobbing.
Never heard of
incident.
it.
No.
And
so
Buchanan May.
Were there any other surprises of you two with the elections that you thought of?
Oh yeah, there were. I was surprised Elizabeth Ropp pulled it out.
And you didn't think she
register of?
Was anyone running against her?
But
hers was the only one on the ballot.
She vowed that she wouldn't vote for herself.
She wouldn't vote for herself.
Well,
My goodness.
Is it official yet that she is the nominee?
I believe so.
The registrar of Mr. Deeds,
wait a minute.
or what is it?
She's a Democrat,
Mr. Deeds,
right?
yeah.
She is a Democrat.
Okay, so the Republicans had someone running as well. So she
but it's the
yeah,
primary.
but she won the primary.
I know,
But did
Sure,
she
it's-
win the primary?
I
Because
believe-
she didn't vote for herself.
She did win the primary.
Wouldn't that be something if you lost because you didn't vote for yourself?
You're
'Cause
right, but
Nobody. What
she-
the hell is register
But
or
she's
whatever?
still, I
probate?
understand. But
So-
she did win the primary. But the thing is, you're right. If a
Well, she had
candidate,
a
if a
thing in-
candidate can't vote for themselves, where's the confidence?
She had an op-ed in Manchester Inkling. I don't know why I'm running for this, so perhaps everybody took it to heart.
Was
and
she one
said,
of those candidates that was set up to say, "Go ahead and run," and I guarantee you won't get it?
Oh, I'm sure you know. It came right down from the CCC.
Both
All
parties
the
do that. You know,
siblings.
they can't find.
Oh, they said, Elizabeth, we want you to run for the register
It-
of
it
Mr.
is-
Deeds.
It is
who
sad.
Goes to town.
I think the most common,
She's got,
the
you know,
most
the
common
classic cinema.
message that
She's
I
gonna
got
be the
yesterday from the
archivist.
voters was there's so many candidates in the county that there's no nobody's running. Now,
Coward. They called him the coward of the county.
there's a lot of candidates.
Everyone considered him
There's
the
a lot
coward of the county.
There are
yes.
a lot of positions in the county positions that were on the Democratic side that were not
Manchester.
filled.
Yeah, so they didn't. You know, what does it take to
Nobody
in the
ran.
Democrats to register of deeds? You just throw your own name in it. So Eddie Sapienza's got both the Democratic nomination and the Republican because he asked people to write his name in.
And he's going to win, and that's not a bad thing. He's not a bad guy.
No, I like Ed.
I like.
Yeah, but he's become a crackpot because of joke.
He's an incredibly tall
Listen,
man.
let me tell you something.
Because of his association with Asanon,
Let me tell you
that
something.
he's become a crackpot.
He is not.
He said that people should die that are drug users.
He is not a Joe Kelly.
No, we're Asanon. We don't want any lawsuits here.
Right.
We know we're
How
talking.
tall? How tall is
Asanon?
How tall is Ed Sapienza? He's about
He's
like
6'9".
6'11" and a half.
Not quite Peter
I don't know how
White
tall
size.
he is, but he's taller than I am.
He's
And when you're on his
And
show,
I think he's a nice guy. I really
when
do.
you're on the show, he just sits ramrod straight.
Yes.
He's got such discipline. He was a red leg, Artie in the
He's
army.
a very
and he'll
serious
start
person.
sweating.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with what?
Yeah, but he
Glenn?
says
Being
that
serious.
drug addicts should die.
Well, I haven't heard that, but that's sorry. If he did say that, I'm sorry.
Carol Rubidoux said that,
Well,
but of course,
Carol
according to Asanon, she is a liberal purveyor of fake news. Or did he call her a communist?
I believe Manchester Inklink is
I want
funded
that
by the
fright
globalists. George Soros.
Be
That
careful. You're
fright-
talking to the globalists here.
You think that Asanon could afford a new wig, you know?
It's Ouellette Lounge gone global, remember?
What do they call it? Is toupee a French word?
Toupee?
Yeah,
It came from the
it's
French.
toupe, right?
It came from that.
Well, we could have, what's it called? Crowdsourcing? We could get Asanon a new
But toupee is the English version of it.
A new toupe.
Glenn just brought something up. Why is your show called Ouellette at Large Gone Global? Are you one of the globalists?
No, because I've gone global. I have.
Because Rich Gerard is claiming
No, it has nothing to do with
intellectual property rights to the
well,
at
he
large.
tried, but had nothing to do with that.
That's right,
I
he
changed
did.
that name before Rich Wright came back. He had cut off for a while.
I just realized something. I've
And-
never seen you and George Soros in the same room at the same time.
Because
Why
we-
is that?
Because we don't exist. In the
You
same
both
room.
don't exist. That's impossible.
Well, we don't. We exist, but we don't. I don't associate with him. He doesn't associate.
I think
with
you're
me.
both Illuminati. You and
Anyway,
you and
I call
Soros
it
and
Ouellette
Beyonce
Live
and
Gone
Jay-Z.
Global because I have as many viewers on the internet from different parts of the world, and that's why I call it global.
You're fancy.
We even get phone
Do you
calls.
have a globe like Rich Gerard in
No, I
the
don't have
background?
a
You could
globe.
borrow his.
No, I don't
And
need his
instead of
globe.
saying Gerard at large, you would say
I don't need his globe.
Ouellette at Large.
Glenn at large.
We even
Glenn.
I even get phone calls from
Asinine.
around the world on my show live. So
Do you?
Yeah,
I
but
do.
that's
From
not
Africa?
fair when you're considering it's your friends that are calling in because they don't know the time difference.
Well, my son's call is one thing, but my friends, no, they don't call. These are people that are watching the show.
Your friends don't call. That's very sad.
Well, half of them are asleep.
They
by that
can't
time.
because of my damn iPhone 5 and the battery.
Oh, I'm so
What's wrong
sorry.
with it?
It's gone kaput.
Hey, by the way, the iPhone inventor, I probably should say, the iPhone inventor is also same owners as
Apple.
Apple. They became $1 trillion company yesterday.
Well, bust my buttons.
The first. So what is that? So this morning they were comparing him versus
Steve
Trump.
Jobs?
Yeah, and they were
Steve
saying,
Jobs was a real
you know that
SOB.
Steve Jobs was born and raised in Syria. Trump would never have allowed him in this
He
country.
wasn't born in Syria. His parents were Syrian, but he wasn't born
Well,
in Syria.
I'm just saying what
he was
they
born.
said.
He was born. What was it in Sunnyvale, California?
Still, you can't be a Syrian in this country with Trump around.
Sure, he's not Armenian.
I don't know.
He could be related to Moses himself.
Really? You think so?
Was it Moses that came down in the ark and married Jebediah's daughter from Armenia?
I hear you
I
were
don't
on
think.
the ark.
I don't think Moses had anything to do with the ark.
Yeah, no, you were one of the giants.
No,
in one of my incarnations, I managed to get on board. I had a girlfriend back then, because it had to be strictly.
Oh, we have a call. Now this might be someone from the Knights
might
of
be
Columbus
Brian
looking for Glenn.
You think
no,
so?
it's too early. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this? Hey,
Hi, Pandora.
Pandora, how are you?
Good. I was just wondering what you thought of Trump's speech yesterday
What speech?
What speech was that?
on 9/11.
I stand up here giving speeches for an hour and a half, many times without notes.
I thought.
Was he using notes?
I didn't actually. Well, yeah, he was. It was a speech that he read. Stephen Miller probably wrote it for him. I didn't actually watch the whole speech. I just caught a little bit of it. I mean, nothing remarkable, but nothing to criticize either. Really, did either of you?
I didn't hear it. I was at the polls all day.
Well, what did you think, Pandora?
Really, I didn't watch it either. I just watched a few seconds of it, then I got bored.
Oh, okay.
Pandora, just remember what Dr. Samuel Johnson said about 200 years ago, and it's still true. Patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel. And when you hear somebody like Donald Trump, who dodged the draft during a war that defined a generation, and not like Glenn Ouellette here tried to join the service, even though you are disabled in a way and you couldn't do the service, but you wanted to be part of that.
I tried all 4 services.
This guy could have served in like a Navy Reserve unit in New York and never go anywhere near anything. But he did not do that. And for him to talk about patriotism, for
And
me, a
neither have his
veteran,
kids.
disabled veteran, is offensive.
His kids weren't in the military either.
And then to attack
All right.
John McCain, yeah.
All right, Pandora, thank you so much for the call.
Okay.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
So Matt and Joan, I gotta go now.
Sound of that bird.
Where are you going?
Oh, you don't like the bird?
I don't like the bird
I'm
in the
being
background.
picked up at the YMCA to go to the dinner, and then I need to say the rosary, and then I go to the meeting.
I still
That's
don't
right,
understand.
KFC.
So what does the Knights of Columbus do?
You never watched Saturday Night Live with John Belushi? They always had the thing. St. Mickey's KFC.
Little before my time.
But that was so part of
It's a little bit
You guys-
before your time. You're so young.
You guys sit around and eat KFC?
No, we
That's
don't eat
gross.
But the Knights of Columbus was so much of a part of the community. You know,
we
in
raised
the
a lot of
70s
money
and
to help
80s.
a lot of charities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is
Good
it KFC? Wouldn't Knights of Columbus be KOC?
No, because it was created by this
Well,
priest.
I think the Italians originally go Columbus.
Yeah,
Well,
it
Columbus was.
but
yeah.
the thing is, his last name I believe was Columbus or something.
Was
like
it that? I thought it was. Well, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure right now, but
Yeah.
it has a lot to
It's
do
a
with
benevolent
charity.
organization.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with
amongst
charity.
Catholics in a time when there was a lot of anti-Catholic
We
sentiment.
support a lot of the education schools, private education schools, and religious education.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest social organizations. Of
Do you
its
support the
time.
indoctrination of our children?
No, I do not. And
Only
you know,
if it's into
I'm
the
going to
Catholic
leave you on this
Church.
note. Today we found out by all 4 major networks, including
What's the
Fox.
4th major network?
Well, there's
Ouellette at Large gone
there's
global.
CNN.
That's right.
There's CNN, and then there's
you have your own network.
no, I do, but I wasn't including mine. There's CNN, there's MSNBC, there's Fox, and then there's HLN. Is that owned by Fox, by the way?
That's headline news. It's owned by CNN.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
it's owned by CNN.
Yeah.
Well, those I consider the 4 that we watch a lot for. These are the 24-hour networks, so to speak. Well, anyway, they all said today that something like $500 million came out of the emergency.
Puerto Rico?
No, but what do you call that when we have a hurricane and does that?
FEMA.
Oh yeah,
FEMA
yeah.
came out of FEMA.
Yeah,
to bring the kids back together, and I don't believe they spent $500 million. And number 2 is that money is supposed to help people for emergencies.
I think it's so groovy now that people are finally getting together.
If
now you
Obama
chime
would
in.
have done that, oh my God, he would have been
Says who?
crucified.
Says who?
And with that, I'll leave you.
Shut up.
Have a good night.
All right.
Come back soon,
Glenn
Glenn.
R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor. He's off to eat some KFC. And thank you so much for joining us. And apparently he's running for alderman at large.
No, I said maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yes, maybe. All right. Well, we're trying to help you. I mean, it's either that or mayor of something, right?
Don't run at all.
Or you don't run at all. All right. Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor, ladies and gentlemen. He's exiting the studio. In just a couple of moments, we'll be getting a call from Dr. John D. Rich Jr. And, yeah, so the story Glenn was referring to is...
Did it have to do with lip syncing?
No, not this time. Apparently...
Downtown Hotel?
No, although there's some stories there, I'm sure. But
Peter, call in.
Oh, my goodness. But apparently the administration took a lot of money out of FEMA, while Trump is bragging about the great success in FEMA's response to Puerto Rico after the last hurricane, where
they're not even Americans. According to him,
only 3,000 people died. So it's a great success. Apparently,
and before 1917, they weren't.
Right. Good point. Yes.
Well, Frederick Douglass, I think, died before 1917. Maybe he's just stuck in a time warp.
Oh yes.
Did you ever think of that?
I had not.
Maybe we ought to go back to 1916 and we could go to Mexico and see the United States invade.
So apparently they took all this money out of FEMA and used it to for ICE to split up and detain families, because that's more important. That was the priority. But they're totally prepared for Hurricane Florence.
An environmental disaster. They probably didn't have enough porta potties.
Oh, right.
You ever think about? See, that's why I get paid the big bucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, he's lost it up here.
So I've lost it up here too. Look.
Oh my goodness!
I saw myself the other day in the replay. I said, "Who's that bald guy?" Guess who it was?
So lots of excitement, fun and excitement.
I thought Chris was going to win 50% of the vote, and he got 44. I can't believe people that thought that all these smaller candidates would do so well.
Yeah, very crowded field.
Mark McKenzie gets 750 votes.
Hello to Dr. Jeff Cassell, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. I still would love it if Dr. Jeff Cassell would join us live in the studio at some point again in the near future. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
It's been, seems like it's been years. So.
Has Asanon ever been on the radio show?
No. If that's who you're... I've never heard that term before in my life.
Have you ever been on Asanon's show?
No.
Okay.
If I assume we're talking about the same person.
Show.
Is that an actual song?
Got a show. Well, it's actually Cheech and Chong anticipated Asanon by about 40 years.
Oh.
Says who?
Okay.
Says Asanon.
Wow. All right.
I said, what kind of a man is this?
What kind of man wears a fright wig to the polls? I don't understand it.
A fright wig to the polls?
Joel once tried to snatch that fright wig off of him.
That sounds like voter intimidation to me.
Yeah, when you see Asanon in his fright wig, it certainly scared me.
Right.
I had to hide behind Bill Barry.
Oh, my goodness. Well, he is a member of law enforcement. I'm sure he is able to more than adequately protect you.
Oh, yeah.
I'd want to hide behind someone like Ed Sapienza because he's such a tall man,
It's all an illusion.
And he's a bailiff currently, right? If he's still in that job.
Well, he worked
at
in
the court.
jail.
Yeah.
Thought he was worked at the jail. He might be a bailiff.
Yeah, I was at court maybe a year ago, not for me, but for someone else. I was kind of there to support, and Ed was there. It was in Goffstown.
He could transport.
At the court in Goffstown.
He might be transporting people from the jail.
Because he was bailiffing that day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess they're part of the workforce. It's part of the county workforce that has to do with the jail.
Oh, okay. I like Ed, but he's no Rusty Burrell. Remember Rusty Burrell from the People's Court?
No.
The greatest bailiff in history.
Was he the African American?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's an old white guy. I don't know why I have to bring
Judge Wapner?
I don't know why I have to bring race into it just because Glenn does all the time.
Well, he's proud of his race.
I wouldn't join a club that sits around eating KFC. I don't like. I mean, the muffins are all right, I guess. Not the muffins. The
well, that muffin's from the Elliott Hospital.
Right. No, I don't mean muffin. I mean, what is it? Roll. It's what do you call it?
Croissant.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
I wish I had more water.
Croissant is actually anti-Islam, so they should be banned.
What do you mean?
They were a crescent, which is the symbol of Islam. They were baked originally to celebrate the defeat of the Muslim army outside of Vienna. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
There are many things you don't know, Yeti.
Well, now I feel badly. I feel as though I've been Islamophobic by enjoying a nice croissant.
I had no idea Yetis were intersexed until I told you to go expletive delete yourself, and you thought I was saying something nice to you.
Right.
Then you promptly did.
Oh my goodness! Are you having a stroke right now?
Which is traumatic.
Listen to what
an anomalous, really an anomalous, gutless coward.
I think he needs some amphetamine.
I think, by the way, that was the same speech with plaid shirt guy.
Ooh.
In the background.
I think it's so groovy now that people are finally getting together.
Who's getting together?
People with Yetis.
Says who?
The Yeti.
Well, that's exciting.
Tales of the Yeti.
By the way, the cyclist
who got his bicycle taken away by the policewoman, and then they had to give it back. Are you talking about that?
I was talking about the one who got fired for flipping off Trump's motorcade is now running for office.
Oh, was he running for president like Michael Avenatti?
No, this was after the election.
Why isn't Stormy Daniels running for office?
Stormy Daniels will probably end up as first lady when Michael Avenatti is president. Come on, you don't think those two are? Come on.
To what?
You know. Come on. You don't think? Come on. Come on. You don't. Come on.
When are we gonna get the?
You know what I mean? Come on.
No, I don't.
You don't. I mean, really? Come on.
Get your stub out of the.
I mean, really?
Rut, Yeti.
Why do you say stub? Oh, well, I am an Irish Yeti. That's true. It says here, according to thehill.com, the woman who was fired from her job after flipping off President Trump's motorcade is running for local office. The Washington Post reported that Julie Briskman, who flashed her middle finger, the horror, at Trump in 2017, filed paperwork to run for a seat on the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors in Northern Virginia in 2019.
I got to get back to a reporter from the Washington Post. Remember. Put that in your brain, Hoppy.
What are you talking about?
I was talking to a reporter from the Washington Post. So I have to get back to him.
About what?
I can't tell you about that. I can tell you off air.
Oh, well, we have a call. I believe this is probably Dr. Rich. Hello, welcome to Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
Is this the great Matt Connarton?
Yes, it is. Thank you for the superlative, and it is much appreciated and valued, and I dare say well deserved, if I may say so myself. And John Hopwood is here too.
How do you? I have a question. You're a doctor. How do you circumcise a Yeti?
Oh, he's not that kind of doctor.
Very carefully.
That is the correct answer. Well, I think that's always the answer to that, though, isn't it?
And then you have to do it again.
Oh.
You need some clippers and a lot of oil.
I'm suddenly very uncomfortable. Just thinking about that.
Just to, like, clear the area, I think.
Yeah, I think that I will proceed uncut as I am so accustomed. But Doctor, it's good to talk to you. You were supposed to join us last week originally, but you had a pipe burst in your home. Is that correct?
Ooh, I have one burst
we
in
had
my
a
brain.
flood here. There was a really big storm, and the water drainage system outside the house clogged up. And so I just had 10 feet of water in my basement, and so I'm still dealing with it. It's not completely taken care of, but at least I can go in my basement and the floor is dry.
Yeah.
So I lost a washer dryer, and
wow.
But they got my water heater going and my air conditioner going, and so that's good.
Good.
But the pressure of the water under the house was so great that it actually cracked the foundation, and then while I was down there, the geyser of water just came up through the ground.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I've seen that
I went
happen.
from trying to keep up with the water to escaping.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
Wow, boy. It's
so it's amazing how strong water can be.
Yes.
The energy in water is amazing. I used to live next to a refurbished mill, and only had an 8-foot dam for the mill race. And then when spring came, the floor just vibrates because there's so much energy. And you wouldn't think the volume of water could create so much energy, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in your situation, I've seen that happen. Where it breaks. How could it break the pad? But it does.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah. So that's the one. That's what's left is that I've got about half of the basement. They had to take the cement out, and so there's just mud there now. And tomorrow they're going to replace it with new concrete, and then that should be just about it.
Wow.
But it's been difficult time. So
yeah,
we have a sump pump, but the sump pump couldn't
failed?
do anything because it wants to pump the water into the drainage system, and that was the problem.
Right
so.
back, yeah. Where do you live, by the way? Pennsylvania, right? Western
I
Pennsylvania?
live in Dover, Delaware.
Oh, Dover, Delaware. I must be mistaken.
Yeah.
But you're that's not
grew
far
grew
from
up
Philly,
in
right?
Pennsylvania.
Is that close to Philly though?
I'm from
Is that...
Philly originally.
Okay.
Now, is that like a wetlands?
Philly's about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's further away than I thought. Yeah. Huh.
The land of Biden.
Oh, yes, indeed.
That's true.
Could be our next. He could be the Democratic nominee, be the fresh new face of the Democratic Party for 2020. Joe Biden.
The fresh.
He'll only be 78.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know who they're gonna pick. Got.
Well, we're putting up Leonard J.
sorts of-
Ouellette, but we haven't seen his passport yet.
It'll probably be Cory Booker or
No
Kamala
way.
Harris. One of those two.
A good shot.
Yeah. Somebody young and new after the Hillary experiment.
Harris is more, mainstream.
Yeah, that's true. But Dr. Rich, you wanted to discuss. I'll let you introduce the topic.
Well, so I gave you one topic earlier in the day, and then I went and I taught my class, and I sometimes kind of go off on a tangent when something strikes me as an important life lesson. I teach the research classes at my school.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes
Delaware
off on a
State.
tangent here. Never.
And so the thing with the research classes is, you have to use examples, and so sometimes I come up with an example, and I realize that I'm in front of some 19 and 20-year-olds who, I don't know, maybe take something from what I know about life and use it. So we ended up talking about people underperforming academically and why it might be that a person does not achieve their potential in school.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I know exists in academic world, but then, in all areas of life, is that if a person feels underconfident in their ability, they may very well use self-sabotaging behaviors to avoid trying very hard, because if you try at something and then you fail and you're insecure about your ability, you may end up having to interpret the reason that you failed as that you knew it all along. You're not as smart as everybody says you are. Your worst fears get confirmed. But if you decide not to try by either purposely not showing up to class or not doing the work, or more unconsciously and more passively staying up too late the night before, or maybe on an unconscious level forgetting that the test was going to happen or something,
smoking a lot
then
of
when you
pot.
fail, you have a ready excuse for why you failed, and you don't need to make it a personal issue.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, in a
Right.
a negative way, obviously, but it makes sense that why someone would do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes these self-sabotaging behaviors are readily apparent to outsiders, but the person doesn't realize they're doing them. And so I said, just picture it this way, that like people on the outside of psychology tend to use the term self-esteem as if any individual either has good self-esteem or bad self-esteem, when in fact we have different levels of self-esteem for different areas of our life. So I have pretty high self-esteem when it comes to my intelligence and my academic prowess,
Mm-hmm.
but my self-esteem in the area of athletics is fairly low.
Oh.
If you went back and met me in middle school, my self-esteem when it comes to my physical attractiveness would have been fairly low. And so self-esteem can fluctuate over time, and you can have a high level here and a low level over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, a person who has a low level of self-esteem in school may very well do things to provide themselves with an easy external excuse for why they're failing to try to protect their self-esteem, whereas somebody with a high self-esteem is willing to take risks. And even if they fail, the interpretation of why they failed is usually not going to be, maybe I am an idiot after all, but instead the person with the higher self-esteem will look at the failure and try to figure out, like, what did I do wrong so that next time I can improve?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very interesting that two people can have the same result, but they are looking at it in an entirely different way.
When we were talking earlier online about this, because you mentioned self-sabotage, and I asked you if that had anything to do, if that was inspired by Trump at all, because and I'm looking at it differently now that you've explained it, but because I said to you, when I think of Trump, when I think of self-sabotage, I often think of Trump, because so much of what Trump, the ways that he harms himself, he creates his own problems. There's a lot of self-immolation there in terms of what he says on social media and whatnot, and the various fights he picks and whatnot. And you said that, no, that's different, because Trump actually does believe everything he says, and it's not not so much that he's
he has self-esteem, but to us it's delusional.
It's self-delusion. Yeah. He's not making excuses for himself because he actually thinks he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I feel like it's a different thing. That self-sabotage tends to come from a place of fear that you're going to be found out.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I try really hard here in school, like I'm going to put my nose to the grindstone and really give it a shot, and then I fail, that is the confirmation of my worst fears.
Yeah.
I don't see Trump as somebody who's scared that someone is going to find him out. I see Trump as somebody who believes that he really is like the best of the best. And people are just annoying him with all this minutia and like getting in the way of his greatness. I really feel like he believes that about himself.
See, I wonder though, isn't it possible? And I know we're trying to psychoanalyze him from a distance, and that's always a little bit dangerous. But isn't it also possible though that he actually does, because when you talk about, you don't think that he has any fear of being found out. I can't help but wonder if he actually does have fear of being found out. So he's constantly throwing up all this smoke and mirrors about how successful, like with Puerto Rico, for example, in the wake of the last hurricane, all this smoke and mirrors about how successful the administration's response to that was.
I don't think he even cares about that. No, he just defaults towards,
Right, because I think,
fluff.
His great strength, I think,
is BS.
Historically, right, and it's marketing, it's branding.
Exactly, branding.
And that's how he markets and brands himself.
Selling the sizzle, not the steak.
Right.
He's constantly. But he's mistaking the sizzle and the steak.
But I wonder if there's a part of him in the back of his mind that actually is afraid of being found out, and that's why it seems like he's constantly upping the ante on making these ridiculous claims. Like the claim about Puerto Rico is just insane. I mean, we lost as many people in the aftermath of that hurricane as we did on 9/11, for God's sake, and he's talking about what an enormous success it is. So I wonder if there is something there, if he is afraid of being found out, so he keeps upping the ante because he has a captive audience of supporters who will buy whatever he sells, and they never question anything. Plus,
and he doesn't really even get into governing, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's all this Russia, because he keeps it as alive as anybody else.
Right. Yeah, he's a marketing guy.
Yeah, and it's my economy, which is ridiculous. He can't be that stupid.
Right.
Right.
By the way, hello to Jeff Scumpy Lorenz, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. You can hear Scumpy on the morning show. But what do you think of that, Doctor? My theory that there might be something else going on there.
Well, I mean, it's always possible. You never know what's in the mind of anybody. But if I'm using the student who parties the night before the test and then shows up slightly hungover, and does poorly in order to provide themselves as an out. If that's the analogy for whether Trump is trying to hide this deep-seated fear that he has, I just don't see the parallel, because it's not that he's not trying something. He's actively trying to push an agenda forward. He has actively pursued the upper echelons of power in the world. Like, he's gone after things that, in spite of ridicule that other people have for him. So he's not trying to protect himself from further ridicule. He is brushing off the ridicule as if it's unfounded.
Okay.
So here's another example. So when I was in middle school, I completely remember this. We had an after-school, pep rally, something or other, and there was a softball game. And I ended up being in the softball game. And they put me, of course, in right field because I was terrible. And I remember this other guy whose name was Bob, who was actually on the team, and he was an incredible athlete. And I had a tremendous amount of envy for his athletic ability. Turns out, upon reflection, the reason I didn't have any athletic ability is because my father was chronically depressed and never took me out to throw a ball with me, so I had no ability, there was no opportunity for me to learn the skills of throwing and catching. Anyway.
Right.
I remember that here we're out in the field, and what I was thinking the entire time that I was out there was, please don't hit it to me. Please don't hit it to me. Please don't. I do not want the ball to come in my direction.
I can relate to that exact thing around that same age.
Right?
I can totally relate to what you're saying right now. That exact thought going through my own head in a similar situation. Absolutely. I'm with you totally on that. Yep.
Yeah. So what I would do when I was in that situation is I would try to get, I was trying to talk with people who were watching the game, or I was looking down at the ground, looking at the flowers or whatever.
Yep.
I'm purposely, I'm not conscious of what I'm doing, but I'm purposely trying to not be paying attention so that if the ball comes, I can just say, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I don't give two hoots about this game or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm giving myself the ability to make an excuse.
Exactly. I totally. That's what I did too. Yep.
I remember this shot being hit directly at Bob, and Bob leaps up in the air and catches the ball, and his body spins from the force of the ball hitting his glove, and he falls on his back, comes down with the catch. Everybody's cheering. Even me, I was like, man, that's amazing. How did he even catch that? And I remember before that happened, we had to get that out in order to win the game. And he was there, and I remember him saying, yelling, hit it to me so we can finish the game. It's an entirely different. He wants the ball to come to him because he's fully confident that it comes. And I can guarantee that if the ball got hit and he missed it, he wouldn't say, I'm never playing this game again.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a terrible player. He's going to wonder, try to think through, what happened there. I didn't place my feet correctly, or I jumped a little bit too late. He's going to have reasons that he missed the ball that are not going to be a personal assault on his ability.
Right.
So what is Trump doing? Is Trump the guy in the outfield who's hoping that nothing happens so that he doesn't get found out? Or is Trump the guy who is asking for everything to come his way and for the spotlight to be on him? I think he's the other guy, even if you don't think he's Bob because you don't believe he has any real talent or intelligence, whatever your thoughts are about him.
Yeah.
I think he believes that he's Bob.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'll draw one other analogy. that I think might be useful to listeners, which would be in the area of like romantic relationships.
Ooh, you woke me. I'm having some problems, physical problems, though. But now I'm perked right up.
Oh, are you also having romantic problems that the doctor can help you with? Is that what you're saying?
I hope so.
Oh.
It takes away all the pain. Love is good for anything that ails you.
Oh.
Love is good for anything at all.
Oh.
Great hit from the 1930s.
Oh, how nice. What a nice song. Oh, great. Well, that's a good way to set this up for,
I have a
for
terrible
the doctor.
case of bursitis.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, me
Well,
neither.
I'll sing it again, but not today.
John's older than we are, so.
So here,
Much older.
So here we have a couple. Let's pretend that there's this couple, a man and a woman.
Okay.
Make them a heterosexual couple because that's going to be the majority of people who are listening.
Yes.
No disparagement to anybody in a different kind of relationship. So we have a
of course.
heterosexual couple, a man and a woman, and let's say that the woman, because it fits with the stereotype more, has been in numerous relationships where she's been cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
One boyfriend after another has cheated on her to the point where she is concerned that the next guy is going to cheat her. And here comes Matt Connarton, who's a great guy and would never do that to her. Of course not. Matt Connarton is one of the most noble and virtuous men on the planet as of this moment.
One
you
might
all agree with that.
One might even say
not a man, Yeti.
One might even say a paragon of virtue. Yes, absolutely.
Among Yetis.
So she meets Matt. She meets Matt. First of all, it's highly unlikely that she would end up actually dating you because she would pick up on the fact that you were too good for her. That's probably how she would interpret
I think that happens to me a lot. Yes,
unless she stub the stub.
So let's say that she decides to take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost guaranteed that at some point she's going to start getting to cheat. And so what's she going to do? She's going to start looking through your phone.
Mm.
She's going to be, she's going to put a tracking device on your car. She's going to do all sorts of things to try to find out that you're doing to her what she knows is going to happen.
Mm.
And so what's likely to happen as a result? What's Matt going to be thinking in that situation? Any thoughts?
Well, when you describe the situation, do I know that she's do I find out in this scenario that she's been?
Yeah, I think you do. I think that she's jealous all the time. She's constantly criticizing you and accusing you of things.
Yeah.
You catch her snooping and stuff like that. You're not doing anything.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is it makes it more likely that you're going to look elsewhere.
Of course, yes.
She's pushed you away.
Exactly.
And, it's like it becomes not worth the effort. And so at one point, you're probably going to cheat on her.
Mm.
And then what happens? She's created her own future.
Right,
Her sabotage of the relationship was committed in order to protect herself from discovering that you were cheating. But the behavior is so over-the-top paranoid that it ends up kind of pushing you in that direction anyway.
Right,
so the
right.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. That happens a lot, I think, in relationships. So what?
Yeah, I think so, right? People have a job. They expect to be fired.
Right,
they start
right.
acting like somebody who's going to be fired, and then they get fired, and they're like, "See, I told you I was going to get fired." These people had it out for me to begin with.
Yes, yes. Well, actually, the last time I got fired from a job, everyone else knew except me. But that's a different thing. We won't tell that story. So what is your advice,
well,
doctor?
You were shedding hair all over the office, so they had to let you go.
Yes,
you could put it that way.
Yes,
shedding. It's closed.
I've actually thought about suing them for discrimination over that, but apparently there was a tremendous cost involved.
We've had the problems with the rugs recently.
Yes,
from shedding.
I do feel badly about that, but I'm only.
And then there are the ticks.
I'm only a Yeti. What can I do? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So what's now? So what's your advice, doctor, for someone who maybe, because you do hear this a lot. People say, "Oh, every relationship I get into, I end up sabotaging it." So some people who do this actually do recognize the behavior clearly, but they have difficulty correcting it.
Are we talking about the woman dating you?
No.
Oh, I thought we were, because I tell her to go to a veterinary sexologist.
Oh, right. Well, she did say something to me about that, but
yeah,
I don't want to that TMI. But what advice do you have,
TBI
doctor?
in my case.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I feel like one of the key lessons of psychology is that the more you can make something that is unconscious conscious, the more likely that you can correct weaknesses that you see in yourself. So if you're unconscious of the fact that you're sabotaging yourself, which the vast majority of people who sabotage are doing it in order to provide themselves with an external excuse, like I was saying. So the guy who keeps getting fired, he doesn't see it as a flaw in himself. He sees it as the world's out to get me. Nobody ever gives me a shot. I have bad luck, all sorts of reasons to not take responsibility for the behavior that he's committing to create that reality.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have somebody who recognizes that they're actively sabotaging, then it's time to really take an inventory of the types of behaviors that you're routinely committing in these relationships before they're doomed, and make a conscious decision to not do those.
Right.
Sabotaging relationships tend to be highly codependent, and so the person is clinging on to this other person at the same time that they're pushing them away, because they've confused their own self-worth with the existence of the relationship.
Yes.
So you just have to tell yourself, this is what I would say, you have to tell yourself, if the person is going to cheat on me, then the relationship will end and I will bounce back just like I did all those other times.
Right.
But in the meantime, I got to become vulnerable in this relationship if it's going to go somewhere.
Right.
I have to trust and give the other person the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. Do you find that helpful, Mr. Hopwood?
I'm still thinking about getting this woman the veterinary sexologist.
Oh, right.
You know I have ADHD.
Yes. Yes.
He wasn't listening to anything.
I actually was, but, I'm thinking of my own problems when it comes to the distaff sex.
Oh, my goodness. The distaff?
Is that what a woman is, a distaff?
I don't even. What is that?
I am older than you.
I don't know that term, but it doesn't sound. I don't know when I hear staff.
Distaff?
That doesn't sound.
It's a distaff.
That doesn't sound like a distaff infection, or what are you talking about?
Distaff.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't. Yeah, you've lost us.
I was like with Glenn Ouellette. I was classically trained in gibberish and obfuscation.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. Well, you've just obfuscated one too many today for us, I guess. We've lost you. Well, doctor, did you have?
You can go blind from that, can't you?
Oh, if you obfuscate too much.
Obfuscate too much.
That's what my grandparents told me.
Geez, I'd like you to call in and talk about what it's like to have a relationship with somebody with severe PTSD. I'm not talking about myself now. It's like people with the same problems.
You're asking for a friend?
No. People with the same problems seem to find each other.
Yes.
As Tennessee Williams would say, the great playwright, the doomed seem to flock
It
together.
is. Right.
Because you have your wiring and everything is so similar.
Right. A basic idea in like psychoanalysis, a basic idea is that our relationships are attempts to relive and correct traumas from the past.
Oh yeah, that's so
we
true.
Have to become aware of the fact that those traumas have already happened and they can't be fixed.
So they're trying to correct it That's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
When you're in these relationships.
Right. So a woman grows up. She's a girl, and she grows up with an abusive father.
Right.
And she keeps getting attracted to men who start out seeming like they're good guys, but then one day they pop them in the mouth, and they're like, man, this keeps happening.
That's very common.
Keep finding the same man. This idea that there's something unconsciously this woman is detecting that this man is going to recreate what happened to her because it desperately wants to erase what happened and rewrite it. But the person who's going to rewrite the past doesn't exist.
Right.
What's a corollary to that? When you're in a relationship like that, the person, even if you're not that type of person that's going to physically abuse the woman, she is looking at you that you have that potential, which is something.
Yeah.
Well, that could be. Yeah, I mean, there could be some of that as well. And then
and you think, where is this
then you
coming
end up
from?
with maybe a fulfilling prophecy, but
right.
I mean, a man who's not going to hit a woman is not going to be inspired to do so. Even if she tries to get him mad, that may not be his go-to reaction.
Right.
She's more likely to be attracted to men who seem like they're just fantastic people who would never do that.
Right.
And then
it's
after
underlined.
after that giddy part of the romance fades, and you move into reality, then one day he gets angry, and you start to see what's really in front of you.
Right.
So she has like a sixth sense, and I'm not using like sight of a sense for what the potentiality I need.
Yes.
Because when I have PTSD, people think I'm just going to hit them anyways. They're looking at me and I'm off the handle all the time. But you're talking about, that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
when
it
I'm
does.
thinking about situations.
It does. It does make sense. Yeah. Well, Doctor, did you have anything?
Well, incidentally, I'll do a commercial for myself.
Yeah, please.
As a result of the podcast in particular, which has started to take a turn toward, like I'm talking with these people who are doing this work on my show, which is called Dr. John's Neighborhood, on IPMNation.com, by the way. And as a result, I've had a couple people who have reached out to me, and I've started doing virtual counseling sessions.
Oh, wow.
On the off chance that there's anybody out there who heard this conversation and wants to talk about their relationships or whatever, I'm open to that. They can get in touch at info@drjohnrich.com.
What would be really interesting is if someone got in touch with you because they need a counseling session because of they've been listening to a lot of my program
and have been traumatized.
Yes, that would be just the irony of that would be wonderful, but for you ultimately profitable as well.
There is what's called in Matt's world the Little Red Riding Hood fetish that he has to deal with constantly as a Yeti.
Boy, that's true.
We've seen it many times.
Well, perhaps that could be a topic in the future.
My goal is to profit from your misery, Matt. So
thank you. Yes.
We'll see what we can do.
When Glenn R.J. Ouellette came in with that red robe, with the hood, with the basket, with the picnic,
I had a lot of.
I'll never forget that day.
I had a lot of very conflicting feelings in that moment, which I'm not gonna discuss now. But,
well, it was strange because you were dressed in Grandma's bonnet.
Right. Yeah, it was a strange day, and I'm glad we had the cameras off that day. Boy, I'll tell you. And Doctor, please let's also plug. You've got the book, you've got the column that appears in Manchester Inklink as well as various other places.
Plug, is he do alien abduction and all that?
Alien abduction?
Oh, okay. That's another. That's the fourth floor.
Okay. Yes.
No, that's somebody else. Somebody else.
Yes.
Hey, don't knock it.
I think in 2 weeks when I'm back on your show, I should be able to plug the fact that the book will be up on Amazon. That hasn't happened yet, but it's on its way. In the meantime, if anyone wanted to buy the book, it's called Positive Parenting. So it's about effective parenting from the standpoint of church. You can just go onto my website, which is drjohnrich.com.
Very good. And the the column. Are you still doing the column weekly or?
Yeah, I put something. It's been a little sporadic lately, just because of what's been going on in my house.
Yeah.
I think I had something up there last week, but it's still an active column. It's just I've had a little bit of blips here and there where I haven't submitted anything.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
But I'm still associated with Carol and intend on continuing to write.
Yes. Carol Robideau of Manchester Inklink, where all things Manchester connect. I think I said that correctly. I think that's the slogan. All right.
I think so. Yep.
Well, Doctor, thank you so much. As always, this has been wonderful and highly informative and helpful. And good luck with all the goings-ons in your home with plumbing and so forth. And wow, what a nightmare! Jeez, I don't envy you. Oh,
no, well, it's almost over.
Yes, and thank you for helping John Hopwood today. I think he benefited greatly from your advice.
Yeah, I forgot all about my bursitis.
There you go. You helped him forget his bursitis.
Turn the corner now. Turn the corner.
I thought it was heartache.
Yes, but it turns out it's bursitis.
Luckily, I thought it was bursitis. It turned out to be a heartache.
Right. There you go.
We'll get it on the re-edit.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, Doctor. Thank you so much for the call, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Dr. John D. Rich Jr. who leaves us, and I was going to go to a song, but someone else is calling, so we'll grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
Hey, how's it going, man? This is Beasley B Musical / Jesus these days.
Yes. Now, okay, so Beasley B Musical. So you said / Jesus. Could you explain that?
Well, I was Bryan Govostes up until I was 33 of age.
Yes.
And then a transformation took place. I surrendered.
Well, hello? We lose you? You're cutting in and out.
I surrendered my heart fully to the Lord.
Oh, okay.
And not only was I saved, but I was reminded of who I really was. And as things go on here, I have all my powers back. I can heal and save people in person, of course, because I'm Jesus. But I'm here because of free will. This is God's contingency plan. It's a backup plan. It's a plan from the Pleiades star system. There's a whole bunch of souls participating in this movement around the world as I speak right now. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, God has our back. This is God's country. God bless America.
So I'm curious about so you can heal people?
Yes, but just by touching them.
Really? Okay. So you've done this?
I am basically a compass to help us get back on the right track. You know, it's not, you know, there's definitely heaven and there's definitely a hell, and you don't want to go there, trust me. But we're going to start over, you know. I gave us a second chance because basically I went up to heaven and spoke to the Father just like it says in the Bible, and I had mercy on the people because I still had life to live. I still had things I wanted to do, and I believe in this country, and I'm 100% patriotic, and so is the person that made us all, the Patriarch of Worlds, the Father.
So God is patriotic?
Yes, very much so. I'm a New England Patriots fan, diehard.
Well, there you go. So when the Patriots, when they win and they say, thank God for, you know, we won the Super Bowl or whatever, that's like a literal thing.
Literally. I've been attached to them for years. It's not a coincidence. There's no coincidences anymore. This is who we are. This is the future. I basically have a release package for anybody feeling fear or oppression for the life that we're living right now. All you have to do is raise your arms up and surrender your heart open to Jesus one more time, and you'll feel all better. And you'll feel a lot smarter.
Oh. Okay.
You get an upgrade package for free, and that's all you got to do. Here you go. Here's the future.
Well, that's wonderful. Okay. So
hope in a basket.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, not a literal basket.
No.
So.
But I've been trying to harness all my energies, and that's how it all started for me, was becoming accountable for my own life. If America wants to take its pride back, that's what we need to do, one family at a time. And everybody needs to remember that everyone has value, and we need to help those people that are hurting. Because the ones who have the strength have the ability to pull the others up. And that's what we need to learn, is that we're out of harmony. We're out of sync right now. And that's why we're going to all have a walk of faith and get back to being the best side of ourselves.
I'm kind of stuck on this healing thing. Have you actually healed people?
Yes.
But, like, of what? Like, what kind of ailments?
Well, just pain. I can touch an area they're in pain.
Huh.
I haven't healed anybody directly yet, but I'm sure I can.
Oh, okay. Well, I believe you.
I love testing my powers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the watchers that are in the Bible are right behind me, because they show themselves to me in the sky every night when I ask for it. So I don't worry about anything. If anybody tries to accost me, they'll probably get struck by lightning.
Oh, okay.
So, you don't want to harm Jesus.
Well, no.
Jesus is only here to help.
But I'm trying to understand one thing, though. So are you saying you're literally Jesus?
Yes, I am, sir.
Oh, okay. But I mean, how can you be sure?
I tried to deny it to myself for months, but I've been back 6 months now, and I've only learned more about who I really am. And this is my path of enlightenment. And I'm still walking my path, just as everybody else is. Everybody's fighting a battle in their mind. Everybody's fighting a battle outside of themselves. But all they need to really remember is to win the battle inside, and you can unlock the light within yourself to come to use this world to your advantage. Basically.
I just have one question.
That's
here.
This is John Hopwood, who's also here. He has a question.
If you really are Jesus, like you say you are, who is your moil? Your moil.
Who is who?
Who is your moil? This is historical fact.
I answer to the Father directly. I am just a vessel for Him.
Well, who did your
and
father
he is
hire
leading
to be
me on my path?
Who did your father hire to be your moil?
God. God in heaven.
God was your
the
moil?
Father. You know what? You shouldn't put "in God we trust" on the money if you don't mean it, because this is God's country, and that's what I'm here to prove.
Well, moil, the ritual
and
circumscriber.
I am a beast. Let me tell you, I have the mark. I am all light. I am dark. I am loving. I carry the mark of the beast, but I'm a beast of love. But trust me,
Sounds
there is
very
a bad side to
60s.
this thing, and you don't want to test it.
The beast of love.
John did serve in the military, so he is
I've always supported the troops. In fact, I'm very disappointed at the people that do not pay their respects for people that fight for freedom.
Oh, they fight for freedom, huh? Why do you say that?
Why do I say that? Because we are the patriarchs of this world. We're the ones that police the world. We're God's country.
Oh, we are. And what's God's name? Jesus. What's his name?
And
real
God's
name?
come back for his country. The Father.
So
I call him Father.
Yes.
I am his only begotten Son. I am the prodigal son returned.
And anyone that pretends they're God, that's an ultimate sin. So you should be
It's
ashamed
not a
of
fucking
yourself.
complex for me, dude.
You just do
Nobody,
it.
they scan my
gotta-
brain
this
and
guy
everything.
Who is
Nobody
this
has
guy?
been able to prove me otherwise of this.
He just F-bombed.
Yeah, no, I
you
hit,
can, you
I
can
hit the
have,
dump
you
button.
have your free will, and
Do you know this
and
guy?
people out there don't have
okay.
faith. There's
It's a
plenty of
shtick.
it out there. That's why I'm here.
I was in the men's
You
room.
know,
I
your,
thought,
your free will the free will that heaven gave you, is what you guys misused. You know,
Well, I
I'm
know
here to
God
help
has
balance that out.
I know God
Because
by
you
his
said you-
first name.
Huh?
I know God by his first name, and it's Herschel.
I don't.
Well,
Is
I'd
that
like
true?
to play
It
a
is
song
true.
that's from heaven, if that's all right.
From heaven. Is that the one that...
you can hear the God in my songs. How's that?
Is that the one from David Lynch from Eraserhead?
No,
in heaven?
No, this is brand new
he
songs
writes-
that I
Oh,
made
cool.
like on a daily basis. I write out a hit song in about 2 minutes, thanks to God.
Well, I should have known this was Herschel's
God is
son.
using me as a conduit to get to people.
He writes his own music. Well, I mean, will we be able to hear it over the phone, do you think?
Do you use the left hand or the right hand?
Yeah, sure. I got the PA system.
Well,
there you go.
Well,
I'm all set up, ready to go. This is my mission. I'm on my path.
No F-bombing.
There's no better place for me to be. This is all supposed to be happening right now.
All right, well, let's
Beast
try
of
it.
love. I love it, baby.
Let's try it. We'll see how well we can hear it.
All right, you ready?
All right, we're ready.
Beastly. Mrs. Beastly. The dog.
Oh. All right, so Beasley B Musical is going to play for us.
I'd have my finger on that button.
Over the phone. No. There's no swearing in his music.
Well, that's disappointing.
And sounds. All right, I can hear him.
It's going to be live.
Yep, he's going to play for us live.
There, I'm going to spread out some new energy. A little new energy on you.
All right.
I like the old energy.
Oh. We'll see how this we'll see how this sounds.
Everything old is new again. That's
Yes.
An old 30s classic.
That's in the Bible, isn't it?
La Biblia.
Oh, right. What's a Neil Young
It's
song?
Leonard, it is, isn't it? It's either that or Leonard Skinner, which is imitating Neil Young.
There we go. He's actually very talented.
Is he talking about Judge Feeney?
Judge Feeney?
Yeah, from Sweet Bird of Youth. Tennessee Williams.
Oh, I don't know. I assumed he was talking about Jesus.
I didn't know God spoke through rock and roll music.
Well, no. Usually it's Satan who speaks through rock and roll, of course. But
that's backwards.
Right, yes. So if you're just joining us, Beasley B Musical is performing for us live
AKA
over the phone.
Jesus.
Yes. Of course, we can barely hear him. So I turned it down a little bit because it's
Son of Herschel, AKA God.
He keeps talking about coming in to play live, but he hasn't been here. He also provided the entertainment at Dan. Now, you've never met Dan Randlett, have you? He played at Dan Randlett's wedding.
Why would Dan Randlett get married when he's a servant of God? Don't you just born married?
Dan Randlett's not a servant of God.
Oh, he's not.
Although his brother is a minister.
Did he marry him?
He can't marry his brother. They don't believe. What?
Did he name him God?
I'm really confused. I think you're confused. Dan Randlett's not the person on the phone. This is Beasley B Musical on the phone.
The son of Herschel, a.k.a. God.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did he stop playing? Oh, we can hear it, yes.
It's heavenly.
Yeah, not bad.
It's good, yeah?
It'd be better to have you here in the studio, but...
I know, but I thought I'd try and do something, you know?
Yeah.
It's raining. You could walk
I'm
down
not one
here.
of those musicians that's afraid to have an accident. I go all the way or nothing.
Right. I understand. So the last time I saw you was at my friend Dan's wedding. I mean, did you know? Forgive me, I don't mean to be obtuse, but I mean, did you know at that time? Did you have any inclination that you were Jesus?
Not at that time. I was just walking a path, you know. I was just making sure I was being, right to the universe and
straight as
just trying to find my way to myself. And there's other ways too, you know. You can follow the number sequences that call out to you throughout the day. Those are your guardian angels trying to get you right in alignment.
Is he talking about self-abuse again?
This is the future. You know, all you got to do is surrender your heart one more time open to Jesus, and he's going to give you an upgrade and a better version of yourself that you never knew before. And you're going to be so fucking happy you did.
Oh, you can't swear, dude. I'd hit the dump button again. Yeah, no F word, because we are on.
But I'm just.
We're on
so
FM.
Happy to, I'm sorry for that, but I'm just very hopeful, and I believe in America.
You are full. I'll give you that.
And I am here for the whole world to get their healing.
All right.
Okay? People need the healing out there, and I'm available for that, and that's what I'm here for.
Well, John is suffering from bursitis.
Oppression is over, if you want it to be.
Just remember, there is no future. We live backwards into the past.
Is that from a song?
Yes, I think it was Jethro Tull.
Oh. Well, Beasley.
Oh yes, we've been here before, but this is one of those.
We're back to foreskin again.
Get off our ass and stop being so stupid and use more of our intelligence and not our ignorance.
Oh, intelligence is overrated.
We're killing our own world. We're not living in a simulated everything. This is real. It's biological. You're matter, therefore you do. This is happening. And if we want to have future, we need to take care of this world.
Right.
This world won't be here forever. That's why this is happening. We're killing the world we live in.
Dude, just take your Adderall and things will be fine.
Well, we are. No, he's not. He's right though. We are killing off the bees, and we need the bees, or there's no food.
So what? You know,
There'll be no food.
It brings on God.
It's your problem, but I'd like to have kids someday.
Why?
And like with the way people think, I don't even feel safe bringing them into a world like this.
Why?
I'm telling you, it was not God's plan, and we're going to get back to that.
God,
you know what?
The whole reason to have kids is because it's such a demented slaughterhouse. You know, let them take risks. The higher the risk, the higher the rewards.
Ourselves and live in harmony. There's other worlds we can mingle with, but we're too dumb.
Dude, if you're going to live in harmony with
not
God, you have to just, randomly strike people dead. You have to open up chasms if somebody's bitching at your friend and just toss them right in there by the thousands.
Because they're full of corruption. All the bad people of the world are falling, and all the good
best
true
people
that
are
have been hiding
full
are
of
going to rise.
corruption. See, you've got it wrong.
Well, here's what I would suggest.
I think the devil is taking a hold of him.
Here's
Truth. If I'm rooted in truth, there's no way around it. I am the white
truth
horse.
is overrated.
I am light. I am dark. I am all loving. I carry the mark of the beast. That is true.
Are you colored
But you
too?
do not want to see my bad side.
Here's what I would suggest.
I don't want to see your backside, baby.
Here's what I would suggest. I think at some
I've got
point.
no time for the faithless.
I think
this
it's
is the future.
You sound faithless. You have no faith in chaos and destruction and a loving God that shows his behind by condemning you randomly to death.
I would like at some point.
You should address Jesus with respect. Nothing else.
I think,
do, Jesus.
Hang on.
I do.
I think at some point we should have Beasley, if you're willing to come in. At some point we should have you and John Hopwood have a theological debate here live on the show.
Well, I'm going to have to ask Monto for permission. I lost that election back in 2014 because I forgot the ritual sacrifice.
Yes.
Just that pack of caraway seeds.
I don't even look at my cards yet, and I'm all in.
In your cards, you do the tarot.
Oh, you still there, Beasley?
I'm here.
I think the beast of love.
If I wasn't here, neither would you be. You know what's funny, dude, is when I went up to God, he asked me, and I spared you guys again.
Hey, if you go up to God, tell him to send me a honey, like a young Naomi Watts type.
Not doing enough.
Until I'm King Kong,
I
man.
spared you.
Dare me? Well, I don't want her to be, tiny.
All right.
About 5'4".
All right.
5, whatever.
Beasley, we've actually got a. Oh.
I'm sorry, Matt, but I don't know. Your buddy's irritating me.
I am the avatar of love.
They asked for a burning phoenix at the last Olympic Games, and I am that burning phoenix that's going to rise us from the ashes. That's what that all means.
Phoenix?
That's what the symbolism means.
All right.
Oh, that's just a bamboozle.
Well, Beasley,
Montu's got it over any phoenix.
Beasley, if we can arrange it, let's hit me up on Facebook if there's a date that you think you could get to Manchester. I think it would be wonderful for you and John to debate all this stuff in person. We're actually missing a lot of what you're saying because it's a very poor phone connection.
I'm really interested in debates more than I am playing music, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, bring your guitar.
That's the way it's supposed to be delivered. I'm not trying to just reach one person.
Bring the bongos.
Right. Well, you can reach.
Drum speaks true.
You can reach many people through this show. But I think it would be great to have you here in person. But
no food and no beverages other than water.
Right, but he can bring his guitar.
Well, maybe,
and I think it would be great.
Tequila, how can you tell the difference?
I'm writing country songs, and you know me, Matt. There's a whole fiery side that I can't even let out yet because I have so much to give. And God's shown me the future, man. It's not a joke for me. I'm living the Bible.
I love the way you call me sweet daddy. What a beautiful dream.
Gonna kick some fucking ass.
Dude, you're going to be banned from WMNH if you keep F-bombing, honestly.
Beasley, you swore 3 times and we're on FM radio, so I got to let you go. But I'll talk to you online, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
He's got to hone his shtick.
Yeah, I had to hit the dump button on him 3 times. Plus, it was a terrible phone connection anyway. But anyway.
I can do that and act like that better than him.
I think it would. Well, I think he actually, if you see his Facebook page, I think he's actually sincere.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
That's immortal. That's the worst sin there is to suffer the ego inflation of, inflating yourself with God.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sin.
Remember that? You didn't like MASH because you object to Alan Alda's.
The MASH, the movie's a great movie.
But you object to Alan Alda's liberal earnestness on the TV series. But there's an episode of MASH where there's
called liberal earnestness.
No, there's a gentleman who claims that he's Jesus. And
you keep bringing this up, and now I've got to announce what's really happened on the morning show.
Are you about? Oh, I thought you were about to tell us that you're Jesus.
I'm not Jesus.
Okay. What's really happened on the morning show?
Joel is taking a sabbatical to write a musical.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, it's called A Walk on the Kosher Side.
Oh, very nice.
When the Beast of Love was talking, it just brought to mind one of Joel's more heartbreaking lyrics. Because actually Herschel was Joel's father, not, Jesus' father wasn't named Herschel.
So who's going to fill in for him while he's gone?
Oh, guys.
It's going to be Eric Gagnon?
Oh, what was the lyric? It's about Joel's relationship with his father and coming of age. What's that lyric? It was so wonderful. What was it? How's it go? Oh, Herschel sure was surprised. No, can I start again? Can we read it? What time is it, by the way?
It's 5.
Oh,
it's 5:30. Who?
Let me go get him.
Who is it? Who are you going to get? No, John, you have to tell me. I'm serious. Who are you going to get before you go get him? No, not today. And there's a reason.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. Hello to Chris Rose, who joins us in the Facebook live chat, as well as Derek Evan Relaford. And let's see.
Herschel.
Was it Eric?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It was the guy that was running for Congress that appears with Gary Hopper.
Yeah, Eric.
Oh, his name's Eric.
Oh, Eric's fine, but I don't. The guests that Gary has today, I don't want.
Oh, okay.
And there's a reason.
There's always a reason.
Yes.
There's a reason.
So
there's a nice lyric.
I'm going to. I'm actually going to take a break where I want to get a big gulp of water in.
All that F-bombing has upset me, man.
I know.
I don't usually,
Yes. Well,
it reminds me of the Army.
Fortunately, we're on a delay, but so I was able to hit the dump button. But I'm going to play.
Are you going to take a dump? No.
No, I'm going to play a song. This is in honor as a way of congratulating everyone who won yesterday.
Did Liz Ropp win?
Yeah, she won her primary. Yes, of course.
How do you know? It wasn't in the paper.
Didn't she post something about winning?
Well, I was with her today. I visited her and her husband, and she didn't even mention it, whether she won or not. I thought that was very peculiar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I could have asked her, right?
Well, yeah, you could have. All right, here's a little Alice Cooper for you. Again, this is in honor of everyone who won their elections yesterday here in New Hampshire.
about school. I wanna be elected,
Reach out, touch space. You're Reach out and touch faith.
There you go. A little Depeche Mode for you. Personal Jesus. I thought that was appropriate given the phone call we just had a few minutes ago.
And Joel gave me permission to sing just a snatch of the musical he's working on.
Oh, wonderful.
Even if it, when you're busking, what's it called? A cappella?
You're going to busk one out right there on the couch?
Oh, yeah. Herschel was shocked by the news that he and Jesus were both Jews. He said to Joel, "How can I be the same as this long-haired hippie with a Mexican name?" He said, "Hey, Joel, take a walk on the kosher side." He said, "Hey, Joel, take a walk down to the deli, get me some lox and some nice onion cream cheese." I can't really do the accent
Sure,
like
yeah.
Joel can.
Yeah.
Maybe if Jen was here, she could help. But a
Right.
little, but and then we have and the Hadassah girls go do 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 do. It seems highly derivative, but I can't quite place the song. But,
Yeah,
you know,
me neither, yeah. Oh.
But what a lyric, you know.
Oh, well.
Herschel was
I'm
shocked
glad
by
that,
the news.
I'm glad that Joel is working on something creative, you know. That's good.
Joel's very
Traffic is good. That's it.
You know what? It goes back to Egypt. That's what he was referring to. You know how Herschel and they all got out of Egypt. Sometime, wasn't it when... who was the guy with the patch on his eye? Moshe Dayan or something like that?
I don't know. I'm confused.
He goes back to Egypt.
Very confused.
You don't have that clip anymore?
No. Unfortunately, that has been removed.
Oh, that was a classic.
I know. That goes back to Egyptian times.
Oh,
No,
geez,
has
and that
been,
explained. Now we know. Now we know.
That is
That's the title of the new musical. It
I
goes
hate-
back to Egyptian times.
I hate to say it. It's as though Joel has been erased.
Well, not from our
The
hearts.
moose is no more. No, the moose will. Well, actually, wait. There's this.
I just love television so much.
Oh, that's not even Joel. All right. No, yeah, Joel's
That's
gone.
Joel and drag.
Joel's been. The moose is no more. He is retired. Best. I still though. I will always say best newsman in the business. Joel the Moose
definitely.
Elbert.
Officially
A
retired.
legend. A legend.
He's getting his pension now.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad he's got something.
So a fresh ham on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of tickets to the Snooze Center for ballet on ice. If
Oh.
it ever comes back, we'll have to ask Eric about that.
Right. Well, I certainly hope
Eric
so.
was brokering, these dividends.
Oh, hello, guys.
Did you hear his entertainment report this morning? It was phenomenal. Although host Peter White sounded a bit dissatisfied with it at various
Oh, it's
points.
just a shtick.
I know. Yes, it is. And I hope that Eric will keep that in mind. I keep worrying Eric's one of these days, Eric's just going to go, entertainment is fine, and just storm out the door.
Well, compared to the Honorable Joel Elber, as great as Eric is, he's still just a shtickle compared to the
Just a what?
Honorable. Shtickle.
What's a shtickle?
It's a small end of like a salami or, maybe some corn. Well,
Oh, right. Yeah. I was going to say, it sounds like something if I went to
Shtickle.
urbandictionary.com and looked it up, I would find something terrible.
It's just a word.
Right. Of
It
course.
can be whatever you want it to be. Joel, there is a song which we haven't got the permission to introduce to the Queen City called the Shtickle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Raffles is another one. I don't know what that one's about. Could be about the dog they had. Him and Charlie Sherman down in Revere.
Oh, Revere.
Yeah. There was the unfortunate incident at the Clam Shack. Yeah.
Oh.
Charlie.
Well, unfortunate
Charlie
things
got over it.
will happen at
and,
a clam shack.
Where
is Charlie Sherman? So he's not here at all anymore, right? He's completely moved to Florida?
Well, he is like they call him angel. The people that finance musicals. He's kind of Joel's angel right now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
An angel investor.
Yeah, we just he is demanding 50% of the copyright, all royalties outside of North America, and co-credit as the lyricist.
I keep waiting to get a Facebook message from my friend Beasley B Musical. And but
maybe he's coming down there to discipline us, to chastise us in the name of Herschel.
He did say he was both the Jesus and the beast or something.
The Alpha and the Omega.
I was a little confused about that part.
He
sounds conflicted.
He's the star in the morning.
Oh, the morning star.
Yes, which is favorite of Herschel.
Mm.
And he's also twilight, crepuscular.
Twilight, like the vampires and stuff?
Well, they're satanic.
Hmm.
They are risen, though.
Vampires are satanic?
I guess they represent Christ in a way, the resurrection.
When you say they're satanic, you mean they actually worship Satan, or are they more like LaVeyan Satanists? They just like Anton LaVey
just ripped off Aleister Crowley, so we're not going to go there.
But they didn't actually worship Satan, right?
And then there's the Scarecrow. But I'll leave that for Glenn R.J. Ouellette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
he's having some KFC right now. He should bring us, except we can't have food in here.
He uses an old-fashioned scarecrow to put his judicial robes so they don't get mussed.
Yes.
Because, you know, he is on a limited income, and getting those silk robes dry clean can be very expensive now that the ER Cleaners is gone from downtown.
I always assumed he was independently wealthy.
There are those rumors, but...
I mean, how does he adopt all these children?
It's God. It's an act of God. It's God's will. God's will be done.
Oh, right. Good.
On here as it is in Africa or Australia or in Oz itself. Because that's where he picked up the Scarecrow.
Newt Gingrich is claiming that the Bushes, you know, of course, you have
the
W,
bushwhackers.
you have HW.
Those bushwhackers.
They no, the Bushwhackers were the wrestling team.
Oh.
He claims that the Bushes view themselves as closer to the Obamas and Clintons than to Trump. It's like they're
well, Newt, they don't need the money like you do. Desperately need the money.
He needs the money? What's wrong with Newt?
He is the assistant porta potty hooker of all national politicians. Because I'd say Rudy Giuliani now is the full Megillah, you know, the big Megillah of porta potty hookers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Former Speaker Newt Gingrich and Fox News host Laura Ingraham chided former President George W. Bush on Wednesday for his lack of vocal support for President Trump.
Chided.
Chided.
Yeah, he's chided.
He's been chided.
Oh, the Bushes, you know, they don't like to be chided because they're wasps.
Well, I don't think anyone likes to be chided.
Particularly wasps. Chiding can be fatal to wasps.
There was a wasp in the apartment the other night. I had to kill it.
Well, you know, why don't you bring the SWAT team out?
Like the very
I guess
funny.
they were otherwise busy.
That was very good. Very good.
Aye.
The two did so as Bush prepares to hit the campaign trail for a handful of GOP candidates this fall. Now, this is interesting. You know what's interesting to me? So, George W. Bush is being trotted out to campaign for Republicans in the midterms, but there was a time, pre-Trump, not so long ago, when no one wanted W anywhere near them because the stench of the Iraq War and the invasion of Afghanistan was still very much in the air.
When we two lived together, she and I.
But now, they're bringing him out. Oh, your dulcet tones. You and the People's Mayor should do a duet. The Golden Throats.
I did her right, and she supported me. A way of life, man.
What is it?
But not quite the best. And when a client came, I'd get out of bed and say, "No, this is from the Three Penny Opera. It's the original Mac the Knife."
Right. Yes. Wow.
The unexpurgated.
That's wow. Here's what Newt had to say. Quote, "In some ways, there is a presidential establishment. The Bushes see themselves in some ways as closer to the Clintons and the Obamas because they're all in the same club. But on one level, I don't blame them. Trump was very tough about Bush's policies," added Gingrich, who left the House just before Bush took office. Well, you know, I thought that during the debates, the primary debates, Trump's best moment was when he pointed to Jeb Bush, who, of course, was not directly involved in the decisions to go into Iraq and Afghanistan, as you know, he was governor of Florida. But when Trump pointed to Bush and using him as a proxy for George W. Bush, said they lied when about weapons of mass destruction, and he was very forceful about it. Because Republicans, while they tend not to be big fans of the Iraq War necessarily, they like to be very careful about, you know, they don't want to be too critical of W. But Trump, He actually took it right to him verbally. Said they lied. It's like the one time during all those debates where I actually said, good for him, good for Trump.
Oh, what I would not give to see that bordello where we used
Bordello?
to live.
That's immoral. That's a house of ill repute. Our friend Beasley is going to call back upset that you talked about that. Herschel doesn't like that.
That's the Threepenny Opera, one of the great classics of the 20th century.
Obviously, I was thinking that too. It says here, Ingram was more critical, suggesting that Bush declined to speak out on issues during the Obama administration. She also questioned how Bush could campaign for Republican candidates if he doesn't support Trump.
What keeps mankind alive?
What keeps mankind alive? The bees. I'm telling you, it's the bees. If the bees die out, we're screwed, and we're all going to die. And it's probably going to be in the next few weeks. We got to hurry up and save the bees.
What keeps mankind alive? The fact that millions are daily tortured, stifled, silenced, and oppressed.
Bees? Millions of bees?
Mankind can keep alive thanks to his brilliance in keeping the sense of his humanity repressed. Mankind is kept alive by bestial acts, Yeti. Bertolt Brecht, 1928.
Now, is that going to save the bees, though? We got to save the bees.
I thought we were talking about beasts.
No. That's a different song.
Oh, I don't remember a song about the bees in the Threepenny Opera. That might be from the City of Mahagoni.
I wonder if there is a song about bees. There are songs about beasts. Beasts of Burden, Number of the Beast.
When I was a lad, people still had a 78 records that had Harry James, The Flight of the Bumblebee. That's before your time. We used to take those records.
Did you say that's before my time?
Yeah, we used to take the records and throw them into the dump. Jeez, I wonder what they'd probably worth 50 cents, $1 now. The shellac records of the past.
Shellac?
First song I remember is Miss Patty Page, The Doggy in the Window.
Very upset. We actually have some bees here in the studio, but I don't want to kill them because we need them. We need to save the bees.
No, those are wasps.
Oh.
We have I can notice we have the same lineage.
In all my time doing this, I've never been more terrified as I am at this moment. I notice they don't show up on the camera. It's almost like they're
I'm not showing up on the camera. I'm a wasp.
They're transparent bees. This is very, very upsetting. That's why you think they're wasps. You can't actually see them.
I'm related to Samuel Whittemore, the patriot, the first patriot of Massachusetts. Winston Spencer Churchill and Diana Spencer and their boys.
I just want to point out
that's
that
wasp.
I'm currently being stung to death.
How can you be stung through that mat?
Well, believe me.
Do you know how he got the name Matt? He named himself as that mat of fur.
These bees aren't fooling around. I don't know how it is that you managed to avoid them.
I'm one of them. That conning.
Great.
Thing, we won't get into the genesis of conning.
Well, that just figures.
Oh yeah.
Well.
There's one up your snoot right now.
Yeah, I know. It's extremely uncomfortable. I'm being stung in my snoot. Well, I think they're going away now. That's oh boy. Okay, they've left. They've gone upstairs. They're going to. I hope they don't sting the Honorable Gary S. Hopper and his co-host Eric R. Eastman. What are you getting up to show me? What is this? You've got what is that? Wait, what am I looking? Oh, be kind. Oh, be kind. Oh yeah. Well, you just go sit at the desk, and I'll put the camera on the desk, and you can show everybody. Pretend you're Joel the Moose Elber. There you go.
It goes back to Egyptian times.
Yes. So now. Why does it say that? Why does it say be kind?
It goes back to Egyptian times.
Well, yes, but
you're stabbing me in the back.
How am I stabbing you in the back? How am I stabbing you in the back?
Traffic is light up in Claremont today.
Traffic is good.
The Jets are, what can I say? Y.A. Tittle was a greater quarterback than this guy Brady.
How am I stabbing you in the back?
Oh, what? How repeat her for a minute.
How am I stabbing you in the back?
Did you get this? Get this?
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that, we can't zoom in, but...
It's a good thing I have my red one.
It's the best shot. Well, what's on the red one?
I can't tell you.
Does it go with your MAGA hat? Oh, my goodness. That was a double
disabled
bird.
American veteran hat.
A double bird. How dare you, sir? What are you, Stone Cold Steve Austin or
You stabbed
something?
me in the back.
How am I stabbing you in the back? Oh, you're not going to do traffic now?
Y.A. Tittle was a greater quarterback than Tom Brady. Do you even know who Y.A. Tittle is?
What does he play for the Jets? The New York Jets?
He played for the Titans. They were even greater than the Jets.
I wish I knew
until
her.
Broadway Joe got there, and then they became even more splendiferous than the Titans are Jets. And why are the Jets called the Jets?
Now you definitely don't sound like Joel.
Why are the Jets called the Jets?
I don't know why.
Because they're playing Flushing, and what's in Brooklyn?
I don't know.
JFK.
Is that really why they're called the Jets?
Idlewild.
The New York Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Idlewild.
Well, we learned something today.
Yes, we did. That I can't imitate Joel Elber. He should come on himself.
We've learned a lot today, actually. We learned about the origin of the name, the New York Jets. We learned a lot about theology when Beasley called earlier. That was fascinating. We learned
that Joel is writing a musical called It Goes Back to Egyptian Times.
That's extremely exciting. And we learned about
spelled Thymes, by the way.
We learned about self-sabotage during our discussion with Dr. Rich. We learned that
sabotage.
That too. We learned that Glenn R.J. Ouellette is apparently almost definitely running for alderman
at large. And that Rich Gerard tried to purloin his intellectual copyrights over the at large.
Well, that's
at large.
That's terrible.
So he had to go global.
I think we've learned a lot today, and I think that's what we try to do with a program like this. Is we try to learn, because on this show, we keep open minds, but also, as I like to stress, even more importantly, open hearts,
and frequently an open orify.
No, you're.
How did the bees get up your snoot?
Right. Well, yeah, that's regrettable.
If you had maybe some Kleenex.
Oh my God, they're coming back.
They wouldn't have got up there, would they?
Well, now I've got bees in my. They're in every. They're everywhere.
Better in your. And you remember when they got the grandma's bonnet?
I do. Yes.
Well, that was because Glenn R.J. Ouellette dressed as Little Red Riding Hood with the picnic
Right, they're
basket.
leaving again.
He had that jar of honey.
There were bees in Grandma's bonnet. There were bats.
Was it really honey?
There were bats in her belfry, and she had a burr in her saddle all at the same time.
It all sounds like Elizabeth Ropp.
It was a terrible day. Actually, not at all.
Bats in the belfry.
Oh, she did have bats in her belfry, or bats in her house.
Well, she has bats in the belfry.
What is a belfry?
Too.
Is belfry another word for attic?
No, bats. A belfry is like in a house, like what you'd call
the steeple thing
steepled
at the top.
houses
Yeah.
and the gables.
Is that what she has?
A belfry.
So she has a belfry?
Well, bats in the belfry means that you're kind of like Bastet, crazy or something.
Are you saying
we don't want to get you any more legal trouble?
Oh my goodness! I hope you're not suggesting that about the nominee.
She marches to her own drummer, and as we know in Africa, from the mayor, the purported or whatever, soon to be mayor of Africa, that in Africa the drum speaks the truth, even to the chief.
Right.
That's why Glenn, who was a master at the bongos back in Buchanan, New Brunswick, I think it was.
Yes.
That's why he's so accepted in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in Australia, which is a new continent for him to conquer.
Right, and conquer it shall.
That's where Naomi Watts comes into all of
He's
this.
very coy about his political ambitions.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I don't know why.
He's the King Kong of Manchester politics.
Right.
Global.
Gone global, yes.
Or at least Mighty Joe Young was, smaller.
Certainly, yes.
In 1949, Ben Johnson starred in it, later won an Oscar.
Oh,
for Last Picture Show.
Wow, it's like maybe you should do the entertainment report on the morning show.
I'm not allowed
on the
to.
days that Eric can't be there.
Hello, guys.
They wouldn't let me talk about Burt Reynolds on the morning show.
Why not?
Because Peter thought nobody would remember Burt Reynolds except for they might think about if I wanted to talk about Trans Ams.
Are you kidding, or is
that
he
was
kidding,
that was the day the immigrants from Ireland were here at the studio, and
we had immigrants from Ireland.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds movies weren't allowed in the Republic of Ireland for many years until he was utterly irrelevant, and now they don't care. Burt who?
Wow.
Is he a guy who makes aluminum foil or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bert, we hardly knew ye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
He legitimated the mustache.
He legitimated it.
Oh, he was the first major mustache since Clark Gable. And he out-gabled Gable when it came to mustaches.
Ah.
He's the person that, they originated the... Was it Clark Gable? No, it was Burt Reynolds about... Well, we're not going to go down that path.
No. Yeah. All right, well, we do have to go. We're out of time. So.
You're kidding.
Thank you, John.
Thank you to...
Thank you. No, it's coming up on 6 p.m., so thank you, John. Thank you to Beasley B Musical /Jesus for calling in. Thank you, Dr. John D. Rich Jr. Thank you to everybody in the Facebook live chat.
Don't forget Glenn.
Oh, yes. Thank you to Glenn R.J. Ouellette, future alderman at large.
Who translated who Asanon was for us.
Yes.
Who you can watch tonight on I think, what's that? He's on WMUR?
Is he? Wow, he's moving up. You got a promotion.
Moving on up.
Wow. Oh, yeah, they're dead too, right? Sherman Hemsley and Isabel Sanford.
What do you mean by that? Associating the dead with Asanon. His career is still vibrant.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. If you missed any part of today's show, it'll be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org.
And be kind to any pinnipeds you see.
That's right.
That's all we ask.
And don't kill any bees. We need the bees. Nah, you can kill the wasps, just not the bees.
As long as they're not named Hopwood.
Right. All right, we're out. I'll talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
And customized business insurance solutions. They are available at 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
You are listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.